They're not scrolling in the comments, like pause for a little bit.
Okay, we're gonna go. Okay, we're gonna get started. Welcome, everybody, to the April 8th, 2024 regular city council meeting. And we have a packed house here and a lot of neat things happening tonight. So with that, I'm gonna ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Long,
Present.
Counselor McLaughlin,
Present.
Counselor Randall,
Present.
Counselor Richardson,
Present.
Counselor Runyon is absent, and Mayor Mays.
Here. Item 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4 is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
McLaughlin, motion second.
I think Tim beat you there, Scott. Okay. It's been moved by Counselor Long and seconded by Counselor McLaughlin to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 5A. This is a very special night to honor the Dalles High School, or the Dalles actually middle school and high school robotics teams. You know, we've honored a lot of people and kids here over the years. In the 5 years I've been mayor, we've honored state champion softball teams, state champion track athletes, honor roll students, and people that have achieved a lot of significant achievements statewide over the years. I don't think we've ever honored anybody that has really cleaned up the way you guys have. I mean, this is really an honor. This is they swept the Oregon State Robotics State Championships. They earned top honors at both the middle school and high school competitions. Teams from the high school and the middle school were champions and excellent award winners, and 5 teams are advancing to the world competition in Dallas, Texas later this month. The 3 teams are System Overload, Syntax Error, and the Disconauts. The Disconauts are from the middle school. The other 2 are from the high school. So we're here to honor them. I've got certificates of appreciation and achievement for all the students. But first, I'd like to call on Mr. Mark McAllister to come forward and maybe just say a few words on behalf of the team. Hi, Mark.
Thank you for having us here, Mayor Mays. Yeah, it's been quite the journey with all these kids and young adults. There's a System Overload is a team of seniors. They've been competing together for 6 years now. This will be their actual 4th trip to Worlds and their 3rd time in a row being the state champions. Syntax Error is a group of juniors and sophomores, their 2nd trip to Worlds. And then Disconauts is their 1st year together in the middle school division. And so obviously their 1st trip to Worlds. But, you know, robotics in the Dalles is growing. The program was started by Wasco County 4-H with Luce CP, who's here in the back today, and is now, how many kids have gone through. But it's really fun to see these kids work together and grow each year, and the robots just get more and more sophisticated. So as parents and helpers, we're all really proud. Thanks for honoring them.
Well, thank you very much for coming. I'm going to come forward here and I've got certificates here and I'm going to read one certificate for each of the teams and then call each kid up, each student up to accept their certificate. So when I call you up, why don't you stay up here because I'm sure there'll be people that want to take your picture, okay? Like Mr. Nichols. Okay, this is the Syntax Error team. The city of the Dalles proudly recognizes the Dalles High School robotics team. Syntax Error for their outstanding achievements in robotics. Last year as newcomers, they secured the title of Oregon State High School champions and competed in the World Championships in Dallas. This year, Syntax Error continued their winning streak by teaming up with System Overload to clinch the tournament champion trophy at the Bex BRC Oregon State Championship. They distinguished themselves by securing additional excellence award at multiple events, including the team champion title and the Build Award at the state championships in Salem. In recognition of their remarkable achievements and dedication to robotics, we extend our heartfelt congratulations to senior taxpayer. On behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Dalles, please accept our congratulations. Dated April 8th, 2024. Got the gold seal here. That's, the gold seal. There you go.
Why don't you-
Morales Cortez.
Right over here, right there. And right there. There you go.
Evelyn Schechter. Congratulations. Everest Leonardson. Leonardson. Emphasis on the first syllable. All right. Now system overload. Ian Castaneda. Solid. Colin Schechter. Our city manager has said you made quite a hit at the Q Live meeting, so way to go. Jack McAllister. Coach Chuck Weber. Okay, this is the disconnects. Disconnects. Edgar Castaneda. Jordan Perez Olivan. Hayden Nefsker. Hayden. William McAllister. Coach Lou CP. Coach Ian Castaneda. Get two certificates, bud. Okay.
You worked hard. Definitely hard.
Okay, can you all scan a little bit? Everybody.
Alright, keep scooching back and come like, hey, your cats.
Okay, I just had one, I understand that there was, how many teams did you guys compete with overall?
At the competition, we're 100.
100 in Oregon, okay. What about nationally? Any idea?
It'll be 800 at the world competition for the high school level.
Okay. 600 for the middle school? Okay, how about that? Okay, we thank you guys for coming, and once again, congratulations and good luck. And you have a fundraiser going on too, right? So you're trying to raise some money so you guys can go to Dallas. So let's Please donate, right? Okay, thank you.
Where is it?
Oh, okay. We're going to take a minute to let the room clear.
Still a lot of people in the room. Still a full house tonight.
Dave Anderson, I guess they're not interested in the crack seal contract and the slurry seal contract. Don't take it personally. Okay. Okay, item 5B, we're going to hear, it's Dan, right? Dan? Dan Spots, you want to come forward and talk to us about the community outreach team trip?
Mr. Mayor, Honorable Council, Dan Spots, Economic Development Officer with the City of the Dalles, and that is a tough act to follow. I know you have a long agenda, so I'm going to be fairly brief here. The Dalles Community Outreach Team has been going back to Washington, D.C. since about 2020, well, since about 2001, seeking to influence policy, but seeking especially federal funding for projects across the community of the Dalles. The idea is one for all for one. We speak to each other's projects. Many of you have been members or emeritus members or continuing members of the Dalles Community Outreach Team. We educate ourselves on each other's projects, and the power of that is that the city can speak to a port project, port can speak to a college project, the college can speak to a county project. We endorse each other's projects. We meet monthly through the year to decide what are the top priorities for the community that benefit the entire community. Through the years, we've had tens of millions of dollars flowing from Washington, D.C. It's unfortunate in a way that we need to do this in the first place. We have to fight for those dollars. We always invest the first dollar locally. We go back looking for the last dollar. And the truth is, it takes persistence. The Fort Dalles Readiness Center is probably the best case in point. That was a project that took about 30 years to accomplish over and over and over again, but eventually it happened. And what you have now is the Fort Dalles Readiness Center on the college campus, replacing what had been an old Quonset hut down on Weber. Projects that we took back this year, and we had a small team, Commissioner Phil Brady, Commissioner Greg Wiest, Phil Brady from the county, Greg Wiest from the Port District, Susan Davis representing Columbia Gorge Community College, and myself. We're going back over a number of projects. It's always tough to say which is the top one because you kind of have a series of projects in your back pocket, depending upon what might come out during meetings with staff. And we meet with members of Congress on both sides of the river, all four senators, both representatives. Sometimes we meet with agencies as well. Among the projects that we talked about this time, one was the city project, the airport business park and the hangar. That's a cooperative project with Klickitat County, of course, as co-owner of the airport, and with Columbia Gorge Community College. The hangar we're talking about is a permanent training hangar for the college's aviation maintenance technician training program. Right now, that's located in temporary space at the Dalles Business Park, rapidly outgrowing those quarters. In conjunction with that is a business park expansion. We're looking at funding infrastructure to a number of unserved parcels at the business park. This began with a $2.8 million grant from the Economic Development Administration. It took a while for the EDA to award the grant, and better part of 2 years. During that time, there was cost escalation. An original project of 3.5 turned into about a $5.9 million project. City of the Dalles and Klickitat County are splitting a local match at $700,000. The Klickitat County has achieved a loan from Washington Department of Commerce for $1 million. at the end of the day, we still have a gap of about 1.4 million on that project. And so that's what we were looking for going back to DC. We are hopeful on that, particularly on the Washington side, because it is a Washington state project. And in this case, it needs to go through the Washington delegation. Senator Murray chairs appropriations. That's a nice position to be in. Senator Cantwell knows the airport very well. We met personally with Senator Cantwell, and she expressed her support for this one. In addition, of course, Senator Markley, Senator Wyden, Congressman Vance, Congressman Newhouse. We always inform all of them of the different projects. Others, the Columbia Gorge Early Learning Center. This is an effort to renovate the former Chenoweth Middle School into a permanent large capacity early learning center that is a child care center on the west side of the Dalles. Wasco County Resolution Center, the Crisis Resolution Center. This would be really the third in a sequence of efforts to help address the homeless crisis around drug addiction, poverty that our community faces along with so many other communities in the United States. The annex is the first step. Navigation Center completion being completed right now. The second step, the Resolution Center, the third step. Resolution Center especially focused on those who pose a risk to themselves. Things that we have trouble dealing with now. This would be a facility to help address that issue. That's a Wasco County project. Port Marina ramp. The Port of the Dalles is looking for assistance on a boat ramp there, also for industrial lands acquisition. Those are probably the top ones that we took back in your packet. There are a number of slides that talk in specifics to these. That's two of the items that are really, really important on the outreach team. One, to have those one pagers literally in your back pocket so that you can pull them out in an elevator as the opportunity presents itself, and so that you can keep these presentations short. The other secret, chocolate covered cherries. We are known for those, and amazing what a difference that makes. Agricultural product of de minimis value, for the record, Jonathan. Beyond that, I would be happy to take questions.
Questions for Dan?
All right,
Okay, thank you very much. Sounds like a productive trip, so,
ready. Appreciate the opportunity.
okay. Item 6 is audience participation. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject which does not later appear on the agenda. Up to 3 minutes per person will be allowed. Citizens are encouraged to ask questions with the understanding that the city can either answer the question tonight or refer that question to the appropriate staff member who will get back to you within a reasonable amount of time. If a response by the city is requested, the speaker will be referred to the city manager for further action. The issue may appear on a future meeting agenda for city council consideration. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to the city council for up to 3 minutes about anything that's not on the agenda? Please state your name, your title.
Making the serial number.
Hey, Lisa Farquharson with the Dalles Area Chamber, and I'm here just. There we go, Lisa Farquharson with the Dalles Chamber, and I'm here just to remind you, there's a little thing coming up on the 19th through the 21st, and that's our Northwest Cherry Festival. We are in full swing of trying to get everything ready. So I brought you some posters so you can help spread the word. We have them throughout downtown, and it looks like it's lining up to be just as active and just as busy. And so I just wanted to remind you guys that it is happening, and we can't do it without all of our volunteers and all of our sponsors. This is a big event, and it takes all hands on deck. So if you feel like volunteering, just let me know. I have a spot. I guarantee it. So anyway, with that, any questions regarding the event that's coming up in less than 2 weeks?
Saturday, April.
It's Friday, April 19th through the Sunday, April 21st. Yes.
Any questions for Lisa?
All right. Everything's on northwestcherryfestival.com.
Thank you. Anybody else? Last call. Okay, we'll move on. Item 7 is the city manager's report. Mr. Cleaves.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple items again for you this evening. Wanted to let you know that we've been continuing our road show, I guess, if you will, to a certain extent, and paid a site visit to the Wasco County landfill after we had visited with dirt huggers across the way from a couple of weeks ago. This is both myself and the city clerk. And we discussed and learned about their operations, some of the proactive steps they've been taking to mitigate odors, as well as bird nuisances and other issues related to that. And, in essence, made a connection with them so they can stay, we can stay more in touch with some of the operations that they have. If they do have issues or challenges at the landfill, they can be better communicated to us, most specifically, again, to the city clerk, who is also a public information officer. And I believe it was just later this year that they'll be undertaking a project to work with some of the methane gas that's released to burn that off and actually produce some electricity with it. And so we'll see how that project moves along in a couple months. Also wanted to note in the back corner of the room is the second type of holiday decoration that we have that we may all be familiar with, the stars and trees. We've been working in partnership with Parks and Rec to rehab the existing stars and trees. And so a couple weeks ago, we had the star in the back of the room, and today we have the tree in the back. And so there is new tinsel on them, along with LED lights, which will replace the older dated, still lovely, but older dated electric, obviously electric glass light bulbs, which the chamber very often replaces on an annual basis and is very much appreciated. The downtown tree planting project is underway. If you've seen the new trees along 2nd Street. And I've had some partner meetings with the Port of the Dalles, upcoming with Parks and Rec, appeared on KODL. We had a Q Life board meeting last week. And we have a construction project down on Clint Drive that we're happy to see moving forward, along with our upcoming budget process. The Oregon City County Managers Association conference will be held in Hood River this year at the end of June. And so if there's any interest in that, please reach out to me and let me know, as that's right in our backyard and could be good to drop in on. And then we also had lunch with the mayor and city manager of Hood River and was able to build some connections on that end. One dynamic that we have is at our next council meeting, we'll have a presentation, an annual presentation from the Dalles Area Chamber of Commerce on our TRT contract. And in reviewing that contract, one thing I wanted to check in with council is that it does specifically state that there will be quarterly reports to the city council from the chamber. Typically, we have done this on a formal annual basis, and I believe Lisa makes nearly every city council meeting anyways, but I wanted to check in with the council because that is stated in the contract if you wanted to see more presentations on a more formal basis on the agenda itself going forward. But other than that, just be looking for some feedback on that item.
Council Richardson.
No, I don't want to see more presentations on a quarterly basis. We may need to rewrite the contract to reflect that, but I would like to see numbers. I think that would be super helpful. And it doesn't have to be exhaustive, but a couple of key metrics, something for us to be mindful of as we look at that contract again in time is what do we actually want to track on a quarterly basis?
And I will add that it is my intention to have some of those conversations this year. We're looking at the TRT ordinance we have, some of the comments or questions or desires like you actually stated, and what we may want to see going forward. And we'll be developing a process to go through as we look towards the final year of the chamber's contract. And we'll look at different options we could pursue to renew that contract, put out a request for proposals, and a lot of that conversation will inform that process.
Thanks.
Councilor Long.
Thank you. So my thought on that would be that since we're going to go out for an RFP and we don't know necessarily who will be coming, and the chamber has done a really great job, then maybe put the language in there that that it would be at the request of the city manager, because sometimes we may need more updates. Lisa does a really great job right now of coming and giving us updates and letting us know what's going on, but there's no guarantee that that would happen in the future if the contract went to someone else. So, or if God forbid, Lisa left the chamber. So I just think it's always good to have it in there, but not necessarily, I don't necessarily want a formal quarterly report. That's a lot of work for them to be putting on for us just to keep us updated.
We could do that, or how about every 6 months might be another alternative instead of quarterly. So how the rest of you feel? I mean, we're gonna, whatever we change, we're gonna have to amend the contract.
General updates. What general updates? Financials, maybe. That's not exclusive or not extensive.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
in doing my diligence and looking into the way that different different jurisdictions throughout the state of Oregon have looked at their relative and respective contracts with their chambers, it seems to be a trend for quarterly updates by email or by letter in some way to get some information in writing, and having presentations in front of in a public meeting and to answer field questions from councils to be more of an upon request basis. But that's all, the minutia, and we can get into it as that becomes, it's rapidly approaching, but yeah.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Okay, so that's basically what Counselor Long said.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because Lisa puts together once a year all of the numbers and all of the really detailed information, and I don't want a misunderstanding that we want to see that more frequently. That's a lot of work.
Is that, we have a consensus from the council to move forward in that manner?
Less than quarterly, less exhaustive.
What does the contract state? Quarterly?
So
Quarterly.
the contract states quarterly. Most recent practice has been Lisa will come, or the chamber will come and give a presentation on an annual basis, typically before we go into the budget process.
Right.
We can always, extend that request and invite the chamber to come give an additional presentation. Lisa's, the chamber rep is often here to answer questions that we have. Just kind of wanted to get that guidance on how we wanted to proceed over the course of this next year. What I'm hearing is we'll keep the, formal annual presentation. And this interest by council and additional information, please reach out to me and I can work with Lisa to get that delivered.
Okay. And the staff will amend the contract accordingly and in the RFP that's going to go out. Okay. Any questions, or
No.
we have a consensus there? Thank you. Okay, city council reports. We'll start with Councilor McLaughlin.
All right. Well, I did attend an airport commission meeting by Zoom recently. Mayor Mays and I did visit the Gloria Center, and I was quite impressed with what's happening there. And I look forward to the things that will develop, positive things that will develop. I did have a meeting with the CEO, county administrator from Donegal County, Ireland, and his name is John McLaughlin. And yes, he is a distant relative. So that's my report for this week.
Thank you. Councilor Long.
Yes, I met with the I did meet with the city manager, Matthew Cleaves. I was going to go with the airport first, but, and we talked about a number of different issues coming up and things that we had going on at the city. And I also met with the airport manager, Jeff Renard. He invited the rest of council who may not have been out there recently to come on out. There's a lot of construction and other projects, things that he has going on that he'd love to show you. It was very interesting. I also wanted to comment that I swung by the library and noticed that they have a new book return that you can use without getting out of your car now. So I was kind of thinking that's funny because for the last 50 years that I've used the library, you've always had to get out and walk down there. So that was nice. And a lot of updates. I had someone from out of town with me and we were looking at the DVD section, and they come from a bigger area, Redmond actually, and commenting on how much more we had to choose from than their local library, even though they just rebuilt their library. So I was pretty proud of that. And just wanted to update a couple of things that are coming up. So this month, for the Urban Renewal Agency, we replaced our normal third Tuesday meeting, which is on the 16th, with our budget committee meeting. And then we had bumped our regular urban renewal meeting to the 30th. However, we are just going to wait now until the regular May meeting because there is a candidates forum on the 30th. And so we want everyone to be able to attend, and also the public to attend and not have any kind of conflict. And so that we'll put the next urban renewal meeting, regularly scheduled meeting, on May 21st. And that's my update.
Thank you. Councilor Randall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one item. On April 4th, I attended a board meeting of Q Life, and not only met with the robotics team, but also went into executive session where we emerged and made a motion to secure a contract with a financial advisor.
Thank you. Counselor Richardson.
Thank you, Mayor Mays. I met with city attorney. We discussed a number of issues relative to the city, and that's it for my report tonight.
As far as my report, it was mentioned, I think Councilor McLaughlin brought up the Gloria Center. The Gloria Center is having a open house, ribbon cutting type of event on May 31st. That's a Friday at 11 o'clock if anyone's interested. As far as the other part of my report, once again, I have the honor of giving out our employee awards this evening. It's something I really look forward to each year. We recognize employees annually in 3 different areas: excellent customer service, innovative thinker, and a team player. Both the employees and the city council members may nominate a deserving employee in any of 3 areas, and the mayor, the city manager, and human resources director review those annually and select the winner for each of the awards. We received several nominations for employees that go above and beyond, but the winners were unanimously selected by the 3 people on the review group. So it is my pleasure. I'll call your name up and let's get some pictures. And I do have plaques to give to the 3 award winners who are all here tonight. I'm going to read those. They're very short. Yes. Okay. All right. The first one is for customer service. The 2023 City of the Dalles Excellent Customer Service Award is presented to Lupita Torres. Lupita is our municipal court clerk and account clerk for outstanding customer service to all customers as demonstrated by consistent exemplary service to the public, fellow employees, and community partners. It doesn't mention here that you have a dazzling smile as well. So we come in all the time. She's there at the front window. I see it. It's beautiful. So thank you very much. Congratulations. Okay. The Team Player Award is presented to, it's the Pete Wasser Team Player Award presented to Todd Stevens. Todd? For exceptional team commitment through dedication to the City of the Dalles by continual assistance provided to city staff, the public, and community partners. Congratulations, Todd. And finally, the Innovative Thinker Award is presented to David Mills. He's our Transportation Division Manager for continual evaluation of division process and procedures to determine the best approach for performance improvement. Congratulations, Dave. Okay. Now we have the consent agenda. Items of a routine and non-controversial nature are placed on the consent agenda to allow the city council to spend its time and energy on the more important items and issues. Any counselor may request an item be pulled from the consent agenda and be considered separately. Items pulled from the consent agenda will be placed on the agenda at the end of the action items section. Tonight, we have 3 items on the consent agenda. First is the approval of the March 11th regular city council meeting minutes. Second is approval of the March 25th special city council meeting minutes. And third is a resolution concurring with my appointments of Kristen Lilvik to the Urban Renewal Agency and Corey Cornett Cody Cornett to the Urban Renewal Budget Committee. I know Kristen is here. Would you stand and be recognized, please? Appreciate your volunteering and your service. Of course, you shouldn't say that until you get approved. So, so with that, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
It's been moved by Counselor Randall and seconded by Counselor Richardson to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 10A is contract for the asphalt crack sealing contract. Like to have Mr. Anderson and Mr. Mills up to present the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as it turns out, you've already introduced Mr. Mills to the group. So
Yeah.
I'm going to hand off the task of both presenting this report and the one following. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, City Council. This is the authorization to award the contract 2024-002, the 2024 asphalt crack seal contract. One of the city's greatest challenges is providing adequate maintenance to a transportation system within the constraints of labor, financial, and equipment resources available. Crack sealing stands out as a cost-effective asphalt treatment, particularly when applied to the pavement when it's still in a good state of repair. By sealing the cracks, the intrusion of water and other harmful substances into the pavement structure is prevented, thereby preserving the strength and integrity over time. This results in a much smoother, safer, and more comfortable driving condition for the road users. Currently, the Public Works Department performs approximately 115,000 linear feet or 21.9 miles of crack sealing in-house annually. However, to address the growing demand and maintain the road network effectively, additional measures are necessary. Crack sealing prior to our chip sealing is recognized as a proactive measure that helps protect and extend the life of our road surfaces. It's not only improves the effectiveness of the chip seal treatments, but also reduces maintenance costs while enhancing overall performance and durability of the roads. This practice is considered an essential component of comprehensive pavement preservation and maintenance strategies. Best practice dictates that crack seal on a street 1 year before performing the chip seal treatment. This timeline allows the crack sealant to fully cure, ensuring it's bonded completely with the pavement and formed a flexible seal. Consequently, its ability to resist cracking, prevent water infiltration, and minimize the risk of reflective cracking through the chip seal layer is maximized. In response to the need for enhanced maintenance, Public Works Department has taken proactive steps. For the past 2 fiscal years, additional crack seal work has been contracted out to assist with the backlog, effectively putting the department a year ahead of our chip seal projects. This strategic approach not only addresses immediate needs, but also sets the stage for a more efficient and comprehensive road maintenance in the future. The 2024 asphalt crack seal project identifies a basis scope of work that included 45 streets or 31.9 miles or 162,000 linear feet. The project was advertised for bid, and we received 4 responses. The lowest responsible bid was received by CR Contracting LLC for the 2024 crack seal contract base scope of work. In addition to the lump sum bids for the base scope of work, bidders were required to provide per foot unit costs of the final scope of work could be adjusted to align with our budget funds available for the contract. CR Contracting came in at $126,555. The adopted fiscal 2023-24 budget included $175,000 of in the street fund line item 6087 allocated for the crack seal and surface seal projects. The low bid, as I stated before, was $126,555. Due to the lower than anticipated unit cost per linear foot, staff has identified an additional 50,050 linear feet of street sections to be crack sealed with this project. This would bring the project total to $212,300, or excuse me, to 212,300 linear feet, or 40.2 miles, for a total of $165,594. There's adequate funds available for this contract. Staff recommendation is to move to authorize the awarded contract 2024-002 for the 24 asphalt chip seal contract to CR Contracting LLC with the additional 50,050 linear feet in an amount not to exceed $165,594.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Mills?
I have one. I'm looking at the map and I'm wondering how it's determined what areas and what roads are to be crack sealed.
So for the past 5 years, we've had a computer program that is inspected every 6 years. And we give it the funding number and it spits out the roads and the best treatments to possibly do that. Our road system's based on a 0 to 100 condition rating for the pavement. And so it can tell us with its algorithms where to best spend our monies.
And who determines those determination like 1 to 100? Who personnel, you do, or someone from staff?
No, somebody from a private company that we hire. The Metropolitan Street Saver is who we use. So when they came in 6 years ago, they performed the annual or the first inspection of all the road surfaces.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
Anybody else?
I have two.
Councilor Richardson?
Thank you. David, have we used CR Contracting before? Do you have any experience with these guys?
No, we do not here at the city.
All right. But we go by low bid. So they put in the low bid and we're going to try and take advantage of that by getting a little bit more work done.
That's correct. And I'm sorry, we did use them last year. I apologize, Councilor Richardson.
Oh, not to put you on the spot, but do you have do you recall roughly what the backlog of crack sealing is in terms of miles?
As far as lane miles, I'm not sure that number. After this crack seal season, with what we're doing in-house and what we'd like to do contracted, we will be caught up for 1 full year ahead of our chip seal program, to where we think we can handle the crack sealing in-house for the next several years.
That's where we want to be.
That's right where we want to be. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
No, nicely done though.
I noticed the map, it's pretty widespread, all over, evenly distributed all over town. Is that I don't remember it being like that last year. It's more concentrated on the west end, but
yeah,
I'm not complaining.
Yeah. And again, we don't have anything to do with it. It's interesting to see what it does spit out. A lot of times with everything we're running here of late, it seems like there's more stuff going to be happening on the west side.
Mm-hmm. And where is CR? Where are they out of? What?
They're out of Bend.
Bend? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Do I have a motion?
I'll move to authorize the award of contract number 2024-002 for the 2024 asphalt chip seal contract to CR Contracting LLC with the additional 50,050 linear feet in an amount not to exceed $165,594.
There a second?
McLaughlin will second.
Been moved by Councilor Richardson and seconded by Councilor McLaughlin to authorize the contract for the asphalt chip seal contract to CR Contracting. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Mills. On to the next contract, 10B.
That'll be me again, Mayor. As I'd mentioned in the crack seal, with our challenges, currently the Public Works Department utilizes a number of treatments, the crack sealing that we just talked about, chip sealing, fog sealing, asphalt overlays and inlays, as well as the full construction of the paved streets. These treatments are completed through a combination of in-house work, partnerships with local public agencies, and contracted work in an effort to get the most value for the maintenance dollars spent. Treatments that involve repaving of the street with hot mix asphalt often require the upgrades of all associated sidewalks, ramps to meet current ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act standards, which significantly increases the project cost and thereby makes some projects unaffordable. It is worth noting that the city has an ADA transition plan and is committed to improving pedestrian access throughout the community. But this effort takes time, has a finite amount of funding available to it and is initially focused on prioritizing areas like school zones, public facilities, and access routes. In recent years, the Public Works Department has utilized a lot of chip seal treatments to preserve pavement surfaces. This is an effective and relatively low-cost treatment that can be used on streets that still have fairly good street surface conditions, and it does not trigger ADA requirements. However, some of our streets have good surface conditions with only minor surface cracking and oxidation that would benefit from an even lower cost treatment that will still provide the needed preservation to extend the surface life of the roads. This year, staff has developed a contracted project to perform a road surface treatment known as a slurry seal. A slurry seal is aimed at extending the lifespan of asphalt pavements in good condition up to 8 years. This treatment involves a mixture of emulsified asphalt with fine aggregate, which is used to fill the surface cracks to prevent moisture intrusion and enhance the skid resistance of the roads. It serves to protect the asphalt from further oxidation and raveling while restoring a uniform black appearance. It does not trip the ADA requirements and doesn't require subsequent street sweeping that the chip seals do. For this project, a contractor would employ an emulsive distributor truck that tows a large squeegee behind it and applies the emulsified asphalt and aggregate slurry. The squeegee is then used to spread the slurry over the street surface and into the cracks. It's important to note that not all street conditions are suitable for this treatment. However, for the ones that are, this maintenance technique is pretty cost-effective solution to reduce labor. A slurry seal only requires about 30 to 60 minutes to cure before we can apply traffic back onto it. The 2024 slurry seal project was proposed to be applied to about 5.7 lane miles on 24 streets. The list of streets can be found under the summer street maintenance on the city's transportation webpage. The project was advertised for bid and 4 responses were received. Pave Northwest Inc. Was the lowest bidder for the contract at $153,417. The adopted 2023-24 budget includes $353,000 in the street fund line item 6087 allocated for crack and surface seal projects. Of that 353,000, 160,000 was allocated for this project. The lowest bid was 153,417. So there's adequate funds available for this contract. Staff recommendation is to move to authorize the award of contract number 2024-003 for the 2024 slurry contract to Pave Northwest Inc. an amount not to exceed $153,417.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Mills? How about a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to authorize the award of contract number 2024-003 for the 2024 slurry seal contract to Pave Northwest Inc. in an amount not to exceed $153,417.
I'll second that.
Moved by Council Randall and seconded by Councilor Long to approve that contract. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Mills. Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Best report you ever received from me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Item 11A is the ANPC ground lease at the Columbia Gorge Regional Airport. Mr. Jeff Renard will present.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I have a ground lease at the airport, ANPC, Advanced Navigation Positioning Corporation. That's a hard one to say. That's why they use their acronym. They're a longstanding tenant at the airport, and let's just read this. There we go. The area of the lease that they have, sorry, I lost my train of thought. They lease the infield between 2 runways, and it's an area that's not buildable for the airport at all. They lease about 95,000 square feet of our infield of unbuildable space. They are a global supplier of precision approach guidance and aerial surveillance solutions aimed at improving the safety and capacity of civil and military aviation. The ground leased is used for deploying an array of antennas that they have and monitoring inbound aircraft. In addition to the ground lease, ANPC also leases a building in our phase one of the business park. They continue to grow as a local technology business and employ both local and out-of-area pilots for testing their equipment. The previous lease was established in 2001 and has not been adjusted for the CPI increases needed. The purpose of the new ground lease is to bring the tenant up to date with our current lease rates and continue the future lease rate with the CPI adjustments that we have in our policy from previous adjustments. The budget implications to this, the present rent rate is at $500 a month, having missed many years of CPI increases. The new rent will be $878.14 a month with the annual CPI increases per our policy. So it'll actually get readjusted again here in July. And then the new revenue increase will be $4,537 per year. And staff's recommendation is to authorize the city manager to enter into the 10-year ground lease with Advanced Navigation Positioning Corporation with the option of an additional 10-year term.
Any questions for Mr. Renard?
None.
I have a question,
Counselor Long.
but I just want to say this is one of the things that he explained to me when I went out on my airport tour last week. And I just think that this is really cool technology. And sometimes we don't realize what amazing things that we have right here in our area. And this is kind of a big deal that we have this. So thanks.
It really is. And I will extend the same offer that Councilor Long said to come see us.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Cleaves.
Just a quick question. I didn't know if we had found out by the time of the meeting if Klickitat County had approved the lease yet as well? Or is that still pending?
I believe that is for tomorrow's agenda for them.
Okay, so I would just add to the motion tonight contingent upon Klickitat County's approval.
Thank you. I did neglect.
I'm happy to make the motion. There's no further discussion.
Please do.
Okay, so I'll move to authorize the city manager to enter into the 10-year ground lease with Advanced Navigation and Positioning Corporation with the option of an additional 10-year term pending the approval by Klickitat County.
Is there a second?
Laughlin will second.
Been moved by Counselor Long and seconded by Counselor McLaughlin. Authorize the city manager to enter into the 10-year lease with ANPC, contingent on the Klickitat County approving same. Is there any more discussion or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Renard.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that has a hard time saying that.
It's a tongue twister for sure.
Okay, the City Council of the City of the Dalles will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602F, which allows the council to meet in executive session to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection, and ORS 192.6602H to consult with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No final decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. We expect to return to open session in 45 minutes to an hour. With that, we'll adjourn into